Okay, Franklin versus Nolensville. A lot of people are considering the two. There's a lot of differences. There's a lot of similarities. These are two really fantastic places to live. A lot of people don't even know that they're looking for Nolensville until they found Franklin, start looking around, and then they notice Nolensville and wonder what that's kind of about and just comparing the two. So there's actually a lot of differences, even though they're very close together. There's a lot of things that set them apart from each other and a lot of reasons why you might want to consider choosing one over the other. So today we're going to talk about some of those things. They're both located in Williamson County, some of the most beautiful countryside in Middle Tennessee, in my opinion. But again, a lot of things that separate them from each other. And if you're considering one or the other, they're so close together, it's worth just checking them out both just to form your own opinion on them. But today, let's go ahead and talk about some of those similarities and some of those differences between Franklin and Nolensville and see if you can just go ahead and rule one of them out when you're coming here to look around. If this is your first time visiting my channel, my name is Jennifer Gramling. I'm a real estate agent here in Nashville, Williamson County, and the surrounding area. I just put out content trying to get you more familiar with the area. So if you're thinking about moving here or relocating, this is going to be a great channel for you. We do city tours, neighborhood tours, talk about things just like this, pros and cons in one area versus another. So be sure to subscribe if that's helpful to you. And like I said, I am an agent in the area. So if you have any questions at all, be sure to reach out to me. You can find all my contact information in the comments. You can call, text, email, however you want to get in touch. There's also a Calendly link in there. If you want to book a time to talk directly with me, you can do that as well. Okay, so let's go ahead and let's talk about Nolensville and Franklin. Okay, so the first thing we're going to talk about is going to be the location of both. So like I said, they're very close together. They just border each other. Let's go ahead and take a look at a map though. Okay, so looking at this map right here, what you can see, Franklin is located right here. Nolensville is right here. They do border each other right here. And then Brentwood is just north of that. So Franklin, at least part of it is located right here along I-65. So you are going to get really good access to this I-65 right here. Nolensville is going to be located in between two major highways. So it's going to be located between I-24 and I-65. And when you look at this map, 41A looks like it does run right up into Nashville. Like you could probably just commute straight up that, but actually that's not really the case. You can actually take that all the way up into Nashville, but it does get really crowded. It's not a highway. You've got stoplights all along there and it does get really congested. So if you're thinking about moving to Nolensville and commuting straight up 41A to get into Nashville, that's probably not going to work. But it is really quick to jump over here onto 65, which is probably the better way. 24 can get really busy and really congested. So just jumping over here to 65 can be really quick. But then you'll also want to keep in mind that there are parts of Franklin, Leapers Fork is all the way over here. So depending on what part of Franklin you're looking in, if you're on this very far west side of Franklin, it can take you just as long to get over here to 65 or even longer. So from Nolensville, it's going to take you about 30 minutes to get into downtown Nashville, 25 to 30 minutes depending on where you're coming from. And then also depending on the traffic. And it's going to be about 20-25 minutes to get from Franklin into Nashville, depending on where you're coming from, unless you're over here on this west side, and it can take you probably somewhere up to like 45 minutes, even without traffic. So because you're coming from some of these country roads over here off to the side. So that gives you an idea of the location. Let's go ahead, let's talk about the size of these towns because they're drastically different in size. Okay, so if we look at World Population Review, the population of Franklin, at least according to this website, is almost 90,000 people. I feel like it might be more than that because I feel like I've been quoting that number for a while, but they have it listed as 90,000 people. If you scroll down here, this website's a little bit busy with a lot of ads, but it covers 41.6 square miles. Okay, and if we jump over and we compare that to Nolensville, Nolensville as of 2023 has a population of just over 18,000 people and covers a land area of 10 square miles. So the land area of Franklin is 4 times the size of Nolensville, and population is just over 4 times larger than Nolensville as well. So obviously Franklin is a lot bigger than Nolensville. So if you're looking to have a lot more things going on, Franklin is definitely going to have a lot more going on than Nolensville. Franklin, there are definitely parts that still have that small town feel, and you can definitely still get out into the country and into the countryside. So if you're looking for that, you can definitely find that there too. But like we're going to talk about here in a minute, we're going to talk about some of the differences in shopping and restaurants and all those sorts of things, which is kind of what gives Nolensville a little bit more of that small town feel than Franklin does. Franklin's just had a lot longer time to grow up than Nolensville, so there's definitely a lot more going on there. Okay, and so as we move into talking about some of those shopping and dining options and what kind of sets those apart, I do want to touch for a minute just on the historic downtowns of both Nolensville and Franklin. So both of them do have a historic downtown. It's one of the things that makes Williamson County and parts of Williamson County really so very charming, and that's that some of these cities do have that little historic downtown center, just adding a lot of charm to the city. So Nolensville's downtown downtown is not as big as Franklin's, obviously, but it still has a lot of really great fun things to offer and a really great place for a lot of fun things to happen. There are restaurants down there. There is shopping down there. Down in this area is where your farmers market happens. You'll have parades down here. So still a lot going on, and also centered right by the baseball fields in town, some of the parks and things like that. So a lot of things going on still in this historic downtown center, but again, not as big as Franklin's. Franklin's you may have seen. So Franklin's historic downtown is quite large with a lot of restaurants and shopping. And again, a lot of events happening down here. So you'll have a lot of parades, a lot of Christmas events, tree lightings, and things like that. But it just depends on what you're looking for. Both have great things to offer. And depending on what type of lifestyle you're looking for, both have really great things to offer. So again, come check both of them out if you're thinking about moving to one or the other. And you might find that you'd prefer to live closer to one and then just drive over to enjoy the other when you have time or when there's something cool going on there. But both really do have that cool historic downtown center. Okay, and for that shopping and dining, obviously you're going to have a lot more that's offered in Franklin than in Nolensville. One of the major differences is that you're not going to have a lot of big box stores in Nolensville, which you will have a lot of that in Franklin. So in Franklin, you're going to have your Costco, you're going to have your Trader Joe's, Walmart, Target, Whole Foods, a mall, everything like that. In Nolensville, you don't really have any of those things. So you have a lot more local shops. Your grocery stores are actually in Brentwood, still really only about 10 minutes away or less, depending on where you live in Nolensville. They're actually building 2 new grocery stores right in the heart of downtown Nolensville. So they're building a Publix and a Kroger, which will be really accessible. One should be done probably in the next year. The other one hasn't broken ground yet, but those are coming along pretty quickly. There's also an Aldi's that's just on the north side of town and a Sprouts that's very close by. But the great thing about Nolensville is that you're only about 15-20 minutes to get over into the Cool Springs part of Franklin. So if you need access to all of those other things, it's really very quick to get over into that part of Franklin to take advantage of all those things. But you are going to have a little bit more limited dining options and shopping options in Nolensville. So if that's something that's really important to you, Franklin might be a better location for you. Like I said, there are some local shops. There's some fantastic restaurants in Nolensville. You've got great barbecue. I would say that you have almost every dining option available to you in Nolensville, but maybe just 1 or 2 of each type of food. So if you're going over to Franklin, obviously you're going to have tons of different options. So Franklin is much larger. We talked a little bit about the historic downtown. There's also Leaper's Fork, which there's some great places to shop. There's art galleries. There's places to eat out there. And then there's the Cool Springs area, which we didn't really talk about when we talked about that historic downtown. But Cool Springs is that area that we did just talk about with Whole Foods and all of that. But you've got tons of great restaurants down in this area and just on the other side of I-65 as well. If you can't find what you're looking for food in Franklin, there's literally tons and tons of options for food and shopping. So jumping back over to the map, this is going to be this Cool Springs area right off of I-65. And you can see you have a ton of restaurants right here. You have sporting goods stores. You have your mall right here. You have your movie theater, Sam's. And basically off of every exit, you have a ton of options available to you. So you'll find chain stores, you'll find independent stores, small boutiques, just really anything that you want here in Franklin. But again, it's just a hop, skip, and a jump to get over here to Nolensville. So if you prefer to live in more of a small town and just drive over here to get the things that you need, you can certainly do that too. Okay, and we're going to talk about schools for just a second. So like I said, Nolensville and Franklin are Williamson County. So you're going to be zoned for Williamson County schools in both. They're going to get very similar ratings across the board. If you're looking at different websites like niche.com or greatschools.org, a lot of these schools will get similar ratings, but you will want to look up based on an address of a house that you're looking at to see specifically what school it's zoned for. And then you can look those up specifically, or even give the school a call and ask them what programs they offer. If you have specific programs that you're looking for your child, if you want a really great orchestra program, or you have a child with special needs, you can reach out to the school individually and talk to them about what programs that they offer. But you'll want to keep in mind, there is a small portion of Nolensville that goes into Rutherford County and Davidson County at the north side. It's the same for Brentwood. There's a portion of Brentwood that goes into Davidson County. So when you are looking at an address, you will want to make sure that you check the county. If you have a specific preference as to where you want to be and what county you want to be, there will be a difference in school zoning. There will be a difference in taxes, things like that. So you will just want to be aware of that when you're looking at different addresses. But again, that's just a small portion of Nolensville. The majority of it is Williamson County, so you will be in those Williamson County schools. Okay, so let's jump over. Let's talk about the cost of homes in both places. There is going to be a difference to live in Nolensville or Franklin. Let's jump over to the MLS and we'll take a look at some of those numbers. Okay, so jumping to our MLS, you can see the difference. So this data is from April of this year. Nolensville, the average home price was $815,000. Franklin was $986,000. So about a difference of $170,000 in the average home price. So you are going to pay quite a bit more to be in Franklin, and you should get more for your money in Nolensville. But that's not to necessarily say that there's more available in Nolensville. So there's actually more available to you in Franklin simply because there's more inventory in Franklin. So while homes may cost less in Nolensville, there's less of them available because there just aren't that many neighborhoods. You can literally tour almost all the neighborhoods in just a few hours coming into Nolensville. So again, I encourage you, if you're thinking about moving here, come and drive through the neighborhoods and see what you think. We can put together a driving tour for you with some examples of homes that are either currently listed or that are pending so that you can just see for the price what you'd be getting for your money in Nolensville, and the same in Franklin. Because like we talked about, Nolensville is just a lot smaller, so there's going to be a lot less neighborhoods to choose from. If you're going into Franklin, Franklin is much, much larger. You've got tons and tons of neighborhoods, and you have a lot more variety of homes to choose from as well. So Nolensville, you don't have that many older neighborhoods. You really just have a handful of older neighborhoods. Everything else is very, very new. So you're going to have a lot of new houses, a lot of new builds and things like that to choose from. In Franklin, you will have a lot of new builds to choose from. You'll also have a lot of older neighborhoods. Since they've been developing Franklin for a lot longer than they've been developing Nolensville, you're going to have a lot of homes around that historic district that are older historic homes. You're going to have homes from the 70s, 80s, a lot of homes from the 90s. You'll find some of those red brick colonials that may or may not need renovating, all the way up through new builds. So a lot more variety of home types to choose from, and just a lot more inventory in general, just because of the size. But there are really great options in both Nolensville and Franklin as far as home types go. Both you'll be able to find homes on property with multiple acres. Obviously, price will become a factor. In some of those, Williamson County land is really, really expensive. So if you're looking for a property on acreage, that can get really pricey in Williamson County, just something to keep in mind. But really a lot of great options, again, just depending on what your lifestyle looks like and what you're looking for. You can find a lot of really great homes in either Franklin or Nolensville. But again, there's a lot of really great things about both Franklin and Nolensville. It's really just going to depend on what type of lifestyle you're wanting to live, how close you want to be to more of the action, and how far you want to be removed from that. Like I said, it really just is going to depend on your lifestyle that you're wanting to live. And I think it's really worth checking out both areas. If you're thinking about moving here, you're kind of torn between the both. When you come visit, you will know where you belong. So if you are coming into town, be sure to reach out with any and all questions. Be happy to put together a driving tour for you, explain some of these cities. It would really just be worth your time spending time in each one and deciding which place is best for you. Again, if you're coming in town and you have questions at all about the area or real estate, anything at all, be sure to reach out. Again, you can find all my contact information in the comments or book a time on that Calendly link to talk directly with me. We have a lot more great content coming up, so be sure to like this video, subscribe if this was helpful to you. Let me know in the comments if there's any other areas that you want to see, if there's any neighborhoods you want me to cover, and we'll try to get those done as well. Thanks so much, and I'll see you on the next video.